what are you doing here? Like, why are you here?
Why are you here? Like, what? What is the goal?
What is the point?
There's no answer.
There's no answer. And I think that that's what we're meant to believe.
Thank you. I like it both. You have a good texture hair.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it is frizzy. Like, it does have frizz.
Well, I like
But,
that
like,
because
but it's not. It's just that's what it is.
because it's not flat.
no, like, but when I was younger, I was obsessed with it being flat.
Well, of course, because we're all freaking programmed to want the most Anglo look
Yeah.
ever.
Yep.
And it's just weird.
It's bizarre. I would just be like taking a flat iron over and over, and it would just still look kind of fuzzy, and I would just be like,
My gosh.
and
it's
now I'm like, let's just embrace my hair texture.
Yeah, that you just are
God.
you, that you just are you, and you are not homogenous. You don't look like, oh my God, don't get me started. It's so bizarre. It's so sick. Like, we are just programmed. It's a programming that starts so young.
I know.
Even Rue, like, she'll be like, I want, like, just from like the princesses to, and even with us trying to, diversify with the, the images and stuff, it's still so hard because she's like, I want my hair straight. I want it to be long. Like, and there's girls at school, one in particular, that was like, you have short hair. And first of all, why is that? Why is that?
Okay.
Why is that
Okay.
like a dig? I'm sorry. But also Rue's hair, because her hair is so curly, she has shrinkage, but Rue's hair is like down her back when it's wet. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
straight. It's like literally so long, but when it dries, it's shorter because she has shrinkage because of the curl.
The curl.
And she's like, I won't use this child's name because she's a child, but she was like, so-and-so said I had short hair. And I'm like, what I want to say is, fuck so-and-so, but, she's a child. So I'm like, honey, your hair is beautiful, but it's just like, she's 4 and she's obsessed with having long, straight hair.
Wow. It's like wild that she already is thinking like that.
Yes. Yes. And I'm doing everything I possibly can at such a young age to be like, no, you will not get in. Will not get in, world. But it's just already.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, do you, I don't have kids, right? So I'm just saying, do you kind of feel like, look, you can only do so much.
Oh, yeah.
The world is going to come in.
The world's going to do what the world's going to do. And I just have to do what I can do. And also some of it is just going to be her own discoveries as she grows and evolves. Like, I can tell her so many things, and sometimes I say something to her and she's like, no, it is. And we like go back and forth about it. And I'm like, why am I fighting with my 4-year-old about how beautiful her hair is? She's like, it's not beautiful. And I'm like,
that must be so hard because it's like you can only do so much, and she's got to discover it for herself.
She will, yeah.
But it's like, hopefully that fierce Leo Sun Scorpio rising mom is just imprinting I don't know, some sort of, I'm sure,
it's
sort of base value system on her. That's, I mean, because otherwise what else are you gonna do?
I mean,
you can't control what happens to her.
But it's just, I mean, I understand. It's even as a white Midwesterner,
white girl
just being like, I want my hair straighter.
Yeah. Because everybody else had it straighter and I didn't want to be different. And it's like, I like that we're actually talking about a little bit of authenticity for Scorpio season. Because I do think Scorpio is like unapologetically them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they're not like saying I'm sorry because my hair is curly.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe you are. If you are, stop it.
If you are, stop doing it immediately. Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that the Scorpio is much more invested in just being authentic and being true.
Yeah.
But of course there's some nuance there, so because we're human.
We're all human. You know, I recently started working with a somatic therapist, which has been really great. I love it. It's really slow in a way that I really appreciate. And like I was like being like, yeah, I have the tendency to like want to control things. And she was like, welcome to the club. She was just like, you're human. And I was like, oh, so you don't think that's just like a problem that I've developed over the years? She's like, everybody wants that.
That's so interesting because I definitely I take that on as being like a very like personal thing that I do.
Yeah.
Or like a certain group of people do.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as being just across the board like a human quality.
Yeah.
And in some ways that like I feel like that takes, so I'm like proud of that.
You're proud of it?
I'm like, I don't know, like I'm like proud of that flaw that I have. I'm like that's a flaw that I've worked really hard. And you're telling me everybody does it?
Yeah, you're like, I thought that was a me thing. Actually, you know what? I actually did have that thought where I was like, wait, I'm not special?
Right.
She was like, no. Like, she even was like acting like, you're human. And I was like, damn, I thought I was special. I thought that was just like this fixed sign in me that is obsessed with controlling everything.
So funny. I know. Oh, I think the phone is ringing.
Do you want me to get it?
Please.
Hello? It's the universe.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Hey, Court.
Yes.
The universe called.
What did they say?
Don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
What? What is that?
That's from The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh. Okay. Yes. They're making a new one.
Oh my gosh. With the same cast?
Yeah, well, it's Anne Hathaway, and then there's a few new people. Oh, Meryl's in it.
Meryl's in it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, but yeah, I wonder who else is there. They've got some newbies in there too.
Blood.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great film.
Great film.
I feel like that kind of energy just overall feels very Scorpio. And with our teaching today, feeling into this idea that in order for us to kind of transform, right, we have to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let go of control. And so it's just like looking at the situation that we're in, it's like, don't be ridiculous. Obviously, everybody wants this.
Yeah.
And perhaps even this idea that you're not that different from everybody else in this human experience.
Literally just talking about that with this idea that like, oh, I thought I was the only person who wanted to control things. It's like, no, honey, you didn't invent that problem. You didn't invent that problem. I sometimes when I'm teaching my students in teacher training and we talk about this idea of suffering, right? And I use suffering somewhat loosely because it's obviously a great spectrum of what that can mean. But it's like we didn't invent that. Like, I'm not the first person to ever experience heartbreak or, financial distress or, any of these things. I am not the first and I will not be the last, even though in the thick of it, it feels as if it's like, what? Why is this happening to me? Like, how could this be?
Yeah, you're like, no one else has ever gone through this pain like me, or
right? Absolutely.
this suffering like me.
Absolutely.
Side note, I will say, like, one of my friends is going through a breakup right now, and he keeps like texting me about how he's feeling, which is totally fine. But like me being on the other side of going through many breakups, I'm just like, I totally hear you, and it's gonna get better, but you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it. And when you're in it, that's all you can think about.
And I think it's important to not minimize the feelings when one is experiencing that. And it can, I think because when I am in it, I can feel so isolated and so alone. And so just that to remember, oh shit, this is such a human experience that like
Human of us.
okay, I am a part of something bigger, and I am not the first, I'm not the last, and I am not the only. So it's both, it's both, and
It is.
Mhm.
It is. And like also just knowing that you aren't alone in that suffering. I don't know if that helps you when you're really in the thick of it, because like it's like, okay, so you're suffering too. Great. But it's like, it's kind of, I feel like it can offer a little bit of levity to a heaviness. To be like, hey, other people do this too. Like how we're laughing at ourselves that we're not the only ones that want to control everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of like made me laugh and be like, okay.
Yep.
But I'm not special.
I know. I know. That's the part where like I'm like, but I thought I was unique in this my experience.
You
here."
are.
And we are though, because obviously we are having a unique experience as ourselves. So,
Yeah, and no one is going to have the past that you've had, the experiences that you've had. And so you view everything from your lens.
okay, what's happening in the sky? It's like we said, it's November 19th.
Yes.
So we are we are coming to the end of Scorpio season. So we know a bit about Scorpio season. We talked about it in our last episode, but Scorpio is a fixed water sign, right? We talked about it being a sign of transformation, a sign of what lies underneath the surface, being unafraid of the unknown, to engage with more taboo topics, death, sex, right? This is just a little bit of review. We also have Mercury, which is the planet of communication, of information, of travel, of technology, which is officially retrograde. It's stationed retrograde, November 9th. It has shifted into the sign of Scorpio as well. So Mercury being in the sign of Scorpio, even if it was not retrograde, can offer us the opportunity to communicate deeply, right? So deep communications that can be transformative, deep thinking, right? Having ideas about things that are really really juicy.
When I think about a Mercury in Scorpio, I also think about connecting to intuition, communicating deeply, thinking deeply, but also dropping into our intuition a lot.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And being able to connect with others intuitively.
Ooh. What am I saying right now to you? It's like I had like a whole conversation with Courtney, and we were both, our eyes were bugging out. You have to be watching this to see the face.
When Mercury is stationed retrograde in Scorpio, I do believe that even if we're having these really deep thoughts about how we would like to move forward as we are on our journey to transform, perhaps we wait to take action. Perhaps there's a pause.
Yeah. Take some stock.
Yeah, perhaps there's a pause.
Journal about it.
There's an opportunity for us to be a little more reflective and lean into a more restorative space.
Yeah. Maybe a little more lunar energy here.
Yeah.
Like,
So
we don't have to, like, like what I think what you're trying to say, tell me if I'm right, but it's like allowing yourself the space to think deeply, communicate deeply, ask all these questions, connect to your intuition, and kind of give yourself time before you start to take actions if you want to change something.
love. That's exactly it.
Yeah, just in the midst of a retrograde
Yep.
in general. And also seasonally, like at least in the northern hemisphere, we're going into winter right now. We're in our fall winter transition. And that's not really a time to be like, go off. It's like things are closing down.
It's like, let's hibernate a little
Yeah.
bit.
By the time it's like end of November, I'm sort of already like, the year is over. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, what happened this year? It's a wrap.
Absolutely.
Closing down shop.
Absolutely.
I'm like, let's gear up for January soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's you're spot on with that.
Because it's like holiday season, it's all clusterfucky, everything's kind of, I don't know, it feels like hard to do anything new.
Totally.
Everybody's busy and traveling and sick.
Totally. Not sick.
Sorry. Just getting old.
So Venus is also in Scorpio. And Venus is the planet of beauty, of creativity, of relationships, of money. And this planet being in Scorpio could be an opportunity to connect deeply around love, to be really in the zone when it comes to our creative endeavors, to feel maybe to kind of feel like we want to make some big shifts around the way that we present ourselves. Even like we're thinking about like beauty. So one might go, I want a haircut, or I want to shift something about the way that I present myself.
I'm going goth.
Yeah. Right? It's just like we're feeling like creative and around the way that we express, around the way that we connect. There's just, but it's not superficial.
No, it almost feels like it would be like if you were gonna make a big change, it would be like, I'm gonna work on if we're talking about beauty, physical stuff, it's like I'm gonna dress the way like I've always wanted to dress, or I'm going to do my hair the way I always wanted bangs.
Yeah.
Don't get bangs if you're going through a breakup.
And maybe
Or maybe you should.
So we have the sun in Scorpio, we have Mercury in Scorpio, we have Venus in Scorpio, we have the moon in Scorpio.
It's like you if you had a hand of cards, it would be like just
Throw it down.
I got a full house.
Full house here. Scorpio.
It's a lot of Scorpio energy.
It's a lot of Scorpio energy here.
Some deep, intense water.
Yeah, actually, yes. And it's all like personal. It's all like inward stuff as well. Like it's like we're not talking about Pluto, we're not talking about Uranus, we're not talking about, Neptune. We're talking about the sun, we're talking about Mercury, we're talking about Venus, we're talking about the moon, we're talking about these planets that are, closer to us. We're talking about these planets that are some would consider as personal planets. So just more perhaps affect us more directly.
Yeah.
Scorpio energy. It is potent.
It's thick.
Courtney,
Courtney handles a lot of our social, and when you posted your carousel for Scorpio season, it was like Scorpio as a water sign. It was ocean waves, but they're on fire, which just is like that encompasses the image of Scorpio for me, because it's like so many people are like, Scorpio is a fire sign, right? And I always am like, it's deep hot water. It's like a hot tub.
Oh,
It's a cauldron.
that's good. It's a cauldron.
Just making the potion bubbling up because it feels so intense and deep. And if you've ever been around a Scorpio or somebody with Scorpio energy, they are magnetic. Pointing at Courtney.
Pointing at Natalie.
Magnetic. It's like something about you is drawing people to you. And that's not a mistake. Like there's something that is very seductive.
Absolutely.
And I don't just mean it in a sexual way. I'm talking like just energetically seductive.
So thinking about Scorpio as being the ruler of this time, this particular time, Shiva comes to mind. So Shiva is part of the Trimurti. Am I saying that right?
Murti, yeah.
Murti. So the Trimurti is the Hindu trinity, which also includes Brahma and Vishnu. So it's Brahma, who is the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer. Shiva is also known as the Lord of Destruction, which is deep transformation. Destruction and regeneration. So Shiva's primary role is to destroy the universe to allow for its recreation, which is a constructive process that paves the way for change, beneficial change.
Yeah.
Which is really what we're talking about here when we talk about Scorpio season or when we talk about the energy of the Scorpio. It's not just death, right? It's death for the potential for rebirth.
Yeah.
So that something can then be reborn in that space that might serve us better as we shift, as we move forward into this new chapter, this new phase.
Yeah. Yeah. And so using this, there's so many different depictions of Shiva in Hindu religion and mythology. And, just as a reminder to everybody, the yoga postures that we do in class, the asana, is pulled directly from stories, mythology, and religion. So a lot of these things kind of came out of something. And so Courtney and I do try to honor that lineage and mention the background. I think it's so rich and it kind of enhances it. So talking about Shiva as depicted as Natarajasana, right?
Nataraj. So,
as
Nataraj, right? Which turns into Natarajasana, right? The pose.
Asana.
Right. So, the Lord Shiva Nataraj. So Nataraj is right. The king of dance is also what Nataraj is known as. And this dance implies, again, the destruction and the creation of the universe. It reveals the cycles of death, birth, and rebirth. This dance is of bliss, is for the welfare of the world, which I think is so powerful.
Yeah. And specifically, there is a story. Do you want to share the story behind this specific dance, which really it was to kind of save the world?
Yeah.
But it was like this demon. Is it Apasmara?
I think so.
So, by the way, this demon supposedly had a demon body and a baby head.
Oh my god.
At least that's one of the stories I've read.
Yeah.
And this demon was offering all these devotions to the gods, and they gave this demon the ability to kind of make people suffer. Specifically, it was seizures and messing with their heads and stuff like that. It was really horrible. Oh. And then Apasmara went after Parvati, went after
Shiva's wife.
And he was messing with her. And so she tells Shiva, this demon is messing with me. And he's like, no way.
Yeah.
Not my girl. So he comes in and then he does this dance to destroy the demon. And so that's the depiction of of him. And we've probably seen maybe, idols or statues, or maybe you can Google image this, but the name Nata means dancer and Raj means king, so it's king dancer pose, right? And the dance is called, what is it called? The Tandava? Yeah, so the dance is called the Tandava, and it said like that Shiva stamps on the demon with his right foot, so he's like crushing him, crushing the demon, quite literally, and he's dancing in the ring of fire, which is the cosmic fire, which represents the cycle of life, the creation and the destruction, and then saves the world, right?
Yeah. I also know that I think the demon itself is the demon of ignorance, which I think is so interesting and significant. That in some ways, right, the demon symbolizes ignorance, and so Shiva has to kill ignorance in order to save the world.
Yes. And in yoga there's different disturbances of the mind, and ignorance is kind of the main source of all disturbances of the mind. Avidya. Exactly. And it's like, because if we're ignorant about things, like how can we make choices in our lives thoughtfully if we don't know the information? Which, right now we could really use somebody to come in here and do something like that, because I do think that so many of the problems in the world that we're facing, like quite literal real problems, are coming out of ignorance. Like I wish that we all had the right information. It feels like right now, not to get too off the handles, but I'm like, with the age that we're in, this Pluto in Aquarius, right, time, and all of that, it's so much misinformation because of the internet, AI, and all of that it's like we all are passing information, and it's like, is it right? Is it the right info?
Right.
And then that's causing people not to trust each other or to make choices that are not beneficial for the world.
Yeah. It feels just so rich to me that the death that has to happen is a death of ignorance, so that life can then exist, right? And specifically speaking about, this Scorpio season, and just applying it to what's happening in the world, like in our actual literal world, and in our country, if we want to zero in a little bit more, there must be a sense of death that happens with ignorance, or a willingness to seek awareness. I think maybe death to ignorance is too extreme, or feels too far away, but at least a willingness to seek awareness,
or a willingness to let go of what you thought was the truth in order to find the truth.
Yes.
I mean, and honestly, like even like what we started with by being like, hey, I thought I was the only one who wanted to control everything and I was special, and then realizing like, actually you weren't the only one. And then it's like, oh, that just shifts everything for me. Like now I gotta kind of rethink about who I am. It's like being willing to kind of die over and over again in order to exist. I mean, you kind of got to do that all the time in order to keep growing as a human.
You just said a fucking word.
What did I say?
A word. That's what I mean. Like, you've never heard that?
Yeah.
That phrase, like, that was a fucking word right there.
Yeah.
Like, we have to die over and over again. Be willing to grow. Yeah.
To grow. And it's very uncomfortable sometimes, because that means we're letting go of what we thought was the truth, or we thought was the thing. And then it's like, oh, then it's shifting my whole world. It's like destroying the world that I created for myself. And I think it's important to mention when we're talking about yoga philosophy and these types of practices is that sometimes it sounds like, wow, this has to be such a big thing. It's like you think that it has to be a big release or a big destruction. I also think that there can be like little moments of this to keep us well, to keep us healthy. I think about like, a controlled burn of like a forest and how indigenous people know how to do it the right way to make sure that things stay healthy. It's like we got to do like little burns so that we're not going into a full forest fire. Trigger warning.
Well, when I talk about this often when I'm teaching, when I'm thinking about teaching like some sort of like release but how we naturally do it all the time for the health of our wellness of our body. Like we shed our hair, we shed our skin, like we eliminate,
we go to the bathroom.
We eliminate, quite literally we are doing it constantly, and if we didn't, we would know that we were unwell.
Yeah, something would be really wrong.
Yeah, so like we are naturally always shedding.
Yeah,
quite literally.
Yeah,
it's just a part of the process of maintaining,
of existing,
And
I don't know if this is actually true. Tell me if you've heard this, that like every 7 years you get like new cells.
I've heard this before.
So it's like,
I've heard that.
It's like the person you are is like maybe not the person you really were like even 10 years ago, which is interesting to think about.
I've heard that. Yeah. And I see why not? Somebody write in and tell us leave a comment or something and tell us if this is correct or not.
Yeah. Is this something I just saw on a TikTok?
I wanted to read what Shiva is adorned with.
Oh yeah,
because I think that
such
it's
a great
so
imagery.
significant. Yes. Okay, his symbolism includes a third eye. So the third eye, which is like intuition, a trident, a crescent moon in his hair. So hello, we're on point. Okay, a serpent around his neck. I think about shedding. Right. I think about Scorpio season, representing wisdom. Oh, a serpent on is like representing wisdom. Interesting. The power to destroy, the passage of time, and victory over death, respectively. A serpent around his neck representing wisdom, the power to destroy, the passage of time, and victory over death.
Wow. Pretty powerful imagery. And Shiva has 4 arms in this depiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then visualize like the flame.
Yeah.
The fire. And so it's like if you wanted to literally use this time to practice Natarajasana in class, if you're a teacher listening or a practitioner listening, this might be a fun time to... That sounded so cheesy. A fun time. It'd be a fun time to do something fun. No, it could be a time to practice it, to lean into it. And as you're in the posture, you might be visualizing that depiction and embodying. Whenever I teach poses where we're talking about a god, I do think about embodying the quality of that deity, god or of that deity, of that posture into your practice. I mean, it's kind of like, not to go too off, but it's like when you're in like a warrior pose, like you feel like you're leaning into that warrior energy.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I think that, with a new moon is, as a reminder, a new moon is the void. It's a time to actually kind of be clear and let things rest, right? And so if we're using this image, this teaching, this posture for that, we might be visualizing allowing to let go, or to let things rest, to let things be still.
Or if a new moon is also maybe an opportunity to set intention, we can maybe think about it as like, what are we setting an intention to, release, or, because letting go is, and you said this really beautifully. We just had an event. Look out for our events.
You gotta follow us on Substack.
Look out for our events. But you said this so beautifully at our Scorpio event of letting go does not always have to be like this dam breaking and then like we just release everything at once. It's sometimes just a slow peeling away, one thing at a time. You didn't say it like that, but you said it. You said something of that sort. And so, with setting an intention of going, okay, what is like one thing that I can perhaps start to create a detachment around that isn't serving me any longer? What is one thing that I can perhaps just put away for now that maybe isn't as useful any longer? And so, maybe there's an opportunity for you to journal about that, or, if you follow our Substack, we will have some journal prompts for you. So, we can help you in that arena if you need a little bit of, guidance. But this is a nice time to set intention around that too. It doesn't have to be like this big thing of like, fuck it all, I'm letting it all go.
Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't feel like, maybe that might happen, but I feel like there can be like a lot of pressure to do that. Like, especially in a class, like maybe a teacher is like, in this hip opener, you will release all of the trauma that you've ever experienced in your life.
What teacher? If you have a teacher that says that, don't go back.
Yeah. Or like, I guess if you like their class, maybe you can stay, but like plug your ears in that moment. Because I have had that, and I'm like, and I think when I was younger, I would really try to like be like, okay, this is it. You're in Pigeon. You gotta let it go. You gotta let go of everything. So what do we do with all of this?
What do we do?
What do we do? Do you know? I'm asking everybody listening.
Yes, please tell us.
I mean, I think, when we were writing our notes for this episode, I'm reading towards the end. This is something that Courtney wrote, which is that passion that is innate in Scorpio, the courage that is present in Scorpio. That it takes a lot of courage in order for us to be willing to shed what we think we know.
It's that Mars, because Scorpio is the modern ruler of Scorpio is the modern ruler of Scorpio is Mars. The traditional ruler is Pluto. But I get that, passion and that courage from that Mars and the, destructive power that god of the underworld, Pluto energy. So it has both.
Yes, it has both. And I ultimately think in order for us to be able to do any type of work like this, like work that involves letting go of what we thought was true or letting go of something that's not serving us anymore, it does take a bit of surrender. Which maybe is the medicine for this moment, is to surrender either to what is now true that might have changed, to surrender to the fact that maybe something in your life is dying and releasing, to surrender to something that is no longer working, whether it's in your life or in your practice, and allowing it to be in the past. And with that being said, I do have a quote.
Love a quote.
We love a quote. This is from Pema Chodron, who is also a Buddhist monk. I say also just because I mentioned Thich Nhat Hanh from before, and a spiritual teacher. Pema has a lot of books that, When Things Fall Apart is probably the most popular book, and it's a great book to pick up, especially for Scorpio season. This one is actually from like one of the pocket Pemas. Like, she has little meditation books that I actually have. And this one is, the journey to enlightenment involves shedding, not collecting. It's a continual process of opening and surrender, like taking off layer after layer of clothes until we're completely naked with nothing to hide. But we can't just pretend. making a big display of disrobing, then putting everything back on when no one's looking. Our surrender has to be genuine. So it goes back to, I think, when you were saying about going into the depth, like not being on the surface, like it has to be real. And perhaps this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, this intuition, these deeper conversations we might have with ourselves can allow us the space to be honest with ourselves.
To be honest.
To be honest.
To be honest. To get completely naked. Wow, what a vulnerable place to be.
Yeah. Which, like, you know, it might be interesting. What is that? I guess the question is, what does that feel like for you? Because I can't, you know, for me, like, I go, exciting.
Yeah.
I'm like, it seems so palpable to me. But also sometimes being vulnerable is difficult. You know?
Now's the time to see.
Yeah. So wherever you're at in your journey with that, give yourself space to be in awareness for whatever that is.
Yeah.
Take good care of yourselves on this new moon.
Please do.
And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and our Substack. We have journal prompts and a bomb-ass playlist every new and full moon. And we're signing off. See you next time.
See you next time.
The Universe Called Podcast with Natalie Burtney and Courtney Sauls. Theme music by Chit Cray, Studio Inertia. Special thanks to Donna and Robbie Falks.